morning, everybody. My question for you today is, are you willing? Our verse is Mark 14:38. Watch and pray that you may not enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. This time of year, we tend to encounter a lot of food temptations. Between the sugar cookies and the candy canes, how did your Christmas go? Was it a case of the spirit being willing, but the flesh being weak? You have probably noticed that when you give in even a little bit, it is a slippery slope from there, especially with sugar. That is why it's usually easier if you don't start in the first place. But even if you did slide down that slope on your butt, you can learn from your mistakes and do better the next time. Some keys to help you get back on track are to plan ahead. The best plans are always going to end up with better results, even if you don't 100% follow them. Eat whole foods. Eat some foods that don't have a label. Get back to the way God made them. And also find some accountability. Find somebody to help you keep on track and keep going in the plan that you want to do. If you try to do it 100% yourself, may or may not work. It has a greater chance of success if you actually have some accountability involved. Now, I will unpack more on this in upcoming Facebook Lives, and there will be a webinar on Friday, so keep an eye out for the email with the link to that. But today's recipe is Avocado Angel Eggs. I am not going to call them by the other name. And and basically this is something you could either use as an hors d'oeuvre for New Year's, or you can just use it to eat for lunch, which is basically my intention with this. This makes about 4 servings, which is actually 2 halves of an egg. And I've already hard boiled 4 eggs, and I've already taken the shells off because there's a few things more entertaining than watch somebody peel eggs. So I'm going to cut them in half lengthwise, and then I'm going to pull out the insides into this bowl here and stick aside in a container here my egg white for refilling later. And there we go. 1 down. Cut in half the other one. And I usually cook my hard-boiled eggs around 20 minutes, 19-20 minutes, turning them on at the beginning, obviously. That's not from boiling, that's from the beginning. And then after it's gone that much time, then I just cover it and turn off the burner and let it sit in the hot water for usually another 40 minutes. And then after that, then I would either put them in a cold water bath where you are running cold water into the pan, but being that the water here is not the best, and I don't want to waste a bunch of distilled water doing it, how I end up doing it is actually doing a instead of doing that, I end up just putting them for a pre-measured time, which is usually about 40 minutes, 30 minutes to 40 minutes in the freezer. Not leaving them in there or they will be chunks, but to get them cool quickly without using a bunch of water. That's the last. Fortunately, my container here is not quite big enough. They don't all want to fit upright. Come on. Okay, so we've got all of our egg yolks in here. Which actually, I'm going to go ahead and just take the spoon and break these up a bit. So far we've just taken 4 hard-boiled eggs and pulled the insides out. It's actually one of the healthiest hors d'oeuvres because you've got your protein and you've got your fats. Okay, so broken it up somewhat, not 100%, but breaking it down a bit. All right, and then I'm going to add half of my organic avocado, which will also need to be mashed. Get my pit out of the way here. I have used a avocado slicer. My only problem is it doesn't do real well at following the skin, so you end up with a lot stuck to the skin. So most of the time I end up cutting my own. Last piece. And of course, obviously, the riper the avocado is, the easier this will go. Well, this is ripe. It's not 100% soft, so it's not breaking down quite so easily. Starting by just getting them into smaller pieces first. Now I'm just shoving them up against the side of the bowl. Let me go ahead and tip this down a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm doing a little bit. Now you probably will end up with more inside so you can get back into the come on, babe. It's starting to hold together a little bit here. Basically, the more you mash it, the smoother it will get, and the more it will hold together. We're going to add a couple more things to this. And I put on your list like a half teaspoon, but I may use a little bit more than that because I don't want this to brown. And that's one of the things that adding lemon or lime juice will do, is it helps keep things from browning as much. Some of that in. Eat better. And the store didn't have any limes currently, so just got the juice of an organic lime instead. Okay, and we will add some Celtic salt. Just a little bit. It's actually still weed. Just a little bit, depending on your taste. And this is actually some kelp powder to give it a little more zip since I can't handle pepper. Okay, so you can see we're getting some consistency here. All right, so basically at this point, you would just put that back into the eggs. And put dollops on each one of your egg whites, and you're all set to go. So either an hors d'oeuvre for tomorrow or lunch for today and another day, as the case may be. So I will see you again next week with another verse and another recipe, and I think another recipe. And then I'm going to, of course, watch out for that email later this week about the webinar. So I will see you then. Bye-bye.